Factoring by grouping. Anytime you have four terms, you should group them into two sets. The first two together, and then the last two together. And then you'll take within each of these two sets, you'll factor out a GCF. So in this first set, we have a 3 and a v squared. What's left in this first set will be v minus 3. In this example, the second group, negative 5v plus 15, is leading with a negative, so you'll want to factor that out. Think of it as factoring out a negative 1, so you'll just divide by negative 1. Now, I look at this all together, and I will look and say, let me factor out the entire negative 5. So when I factor out negative 5, be careful with the last value here. Because you took out a negative, it will change the sign. So what's left inside is v minus 3. Now, go back and double check to make sure that when you distribute these values back into the binomials, that you do, in fact, generate what was given to you. So a negative 5 times v is negative 5v, and negative 5 times a negative 3 does, in fact, give me positive 15, so I am okay here. Now, once you've done this, if you'll notice, look very closely, you'll notice that there is a GCF. There is a common factor. Okay, it is in the form of a binomial. If they're not in common, you can't go further, but you should check your work. So, since these two are in common, we'll factor it out just like we did in the other videos factoring out a GCF. We'll factor it out. Really, we've divided this entire set by v minus 3, so the only thing that's left now here is 3v squared. And when we factor this out, the only thing that will be left is negative 5. So we need to group these two together. 3v squared minus 5. It does not matter what order you put these in, so if I put 3v squared minus 5 up front here, and then v minus 3, that would also be okay. Now, let's try another one. By the way, to check this, all you have to do is FOIL it, or just multiply it back out. So v times 3v squared, v times negative 5, negative 3 times 3v squared, and negative 3 times negative 5, and then combine any like terms if you have them. Okay, so we'll try another one. 24x cubed minus 30x squared plus 4x minus 5. There are four terms here, so we'll factor by grouping. Group the first two together and the last two together. Now take out a GCF. In the first set, the GCF is 6 for the number and x squared for the variables. So 6x squared is your GCF or HCF. We have 4x minus 5 left in the first term. And then if you look here, the numbers, there's nothing to take out. There's nothing in common. But I do need to show something happening. So since there's nothing in common, I'm just going to factor out a 1. It is very important that you factor out the 1 because you need to generate this if you were multiplying it back out. So we're going to factor out a 1, and I'm just going to go ahead and say positive 1 because I don't need to change a sign. And what's left is 4x minus 5 because I didn't really divide by anything. I divided by 1. Okay? Now notice again, 4x minus 5 is the common factor. Now this time I'm going to write it differently just to show you that it's okay to do it either way. So the numbers out in front go in one set, one binomial, 6x squared plus 1, and the GCF will go as your second binomial. And that's it. You have factored by grouping. Again, if you want to check to make sure that you are correct, just multiply or FOIL this back out. Thank you.